my name is Melissa Blair, and I am the owner and founder of Cultivating Sales, and welcome to our website. I'm a sales and marketing geek. That means I love blending sales and marketing with technology. And that also means that I have tried, tested, and used every type of sales and marketing software that I could get my hands on. My overall experience? Frustration. Each one had its pros and cons, and the only solution I found was to duct tape together 6 or 7 programs to build our sales and marketing system. It was a spider web of webhooks and Zapier Zaps and API nightmares. And I would just get it all to work, and then one program would change something, the connection would break, and we had to start all over again. The amount of time and money I was spending was ridiculous. So, being an entrepreneur, I decided to solve my own problem, and I have partnered with an outstanding team of developers to help me build my dream software program, Cultivating Sales Pro. What is Cultivating Sales Pro, and what makes it different? Well, I found that when trying to explain our software, video is the best way to do that. So I'm going to provide you with a little demo of why our software is quickly finding a loyal fan base. Thank you for watching. Hello again, and welcome to the demo of Cultivating Sales Pro. And I'm going to try not to go too deep into any of these things because I'm going to ask that you set an appointment with me, use my scheduling tool, which is part of this system, and book a private demo so that we can go through each and every piece individually. You can ask the questions you want to ask, how it pertains to what you're currently using, and we can really give you a good, thorough demo and overview. But in this case, we're just going to kind of go through and show you the different types of tools that are integrated into one program, which is the whole point of it, is to get it all into one system. So what you're seeing here is my favorite part of the program, and it's different than anything else I've ever seen before, but it did solve a problem for me, and that was that I was having conversations with people all over the place. Facebook, Instant Messenger, text messaging, email, phone calls, and it got to be very difficult to keep track of where I had those conversations. So now to combat that, we give each customer their own mobile cell phone number, their own business mobile number. And clients love it because now they're not giving out their personal number anymore for business purposes. And so this new number is fully integrated into our system. So as you can see here, if somebody tries to call me, I can see that they were trying to call. I could have calling out so I would know that I did call them. We can record phone calls. I'm not a fan of it. You do have to make sure that you let them know in advance that you're recording it by law. But it is there if it's important to you. And then if you look at any number of these conversations, they're a series of texts and emails and phone calls, and some of them are automated and some of them are real time. And that's the beauty of the system. It's all being brought in sequentially. So I can see this history of our conversations, regardless of where that conversation was had. I don't have to copy and paste from my email program into my CRM or any of that anymore because it's all integrated into one spot. So I can't really compare this to anything else. This is a very individual solution that I absolutely love because I spend my time in here. And whatever you see here, you're also going to see on our mobile app. It's either way. I tend to be behind my laptop a lot. A lot of my customers are on their phones, so that's what they're doing is they're using the mobile phone, the mobile app. So there's also, you can see here, we have two-way texting and then the email. And then if I was talking to people over Facebook, it would show up here. I personally don't use Facebook a lot, but that doesn't mean that it isn't extremely valuable for those that are using it. It's just something that I haven't really gotten in the habit of doing yet. But if I want to send a text to somebody, I can quickly just go here, send a quick text, everything's good. I can also use a template. One of the systems I've built for myself and then I share with all my clients is when I get back from a networking event, I come back with a handful of business cards, and then I usually throw them in a pile on my desk and mean to get around to it. Now I come back, I enter their information into the contact management part, the CRM part, and then I go down and depending on which networking event I was at, I pop in my little template and it basically says, I'd love to get to know you better over Zoom, and here's my calendar link. Let's book a time. So that I'm coming back and within 5-10 minutes, I've got all those new people in my contact manager and a request for a get to know you appointment that goes out, and then my calendar starts booking up with those appointments. Those appointments to me are very different than a sales appointment. They're strictly to get to know people, get to know their business, see how I might be able to give them some referrals. So I'm going to clear that out here. And the same could be done with email. I have a number of emails where I have to send it individually, not through some sort of a bulk campaign. And so I have those set up as a template as well. And so you can see that's where all this is happening. Just makes it so easy to find it. I'm not going out and into my email and all of a sudden I see a sale going on and I'm off looking at sale items or reading my bank statement or reading somebody's newsletter, or I'm not going out to Facebook to interact with people there, because you know what happens when you get into Facebook. It could be an hour later, you still haven't done what you'd hoped to do. So this allows me to stay focused on the relationships that I am building. And if I go into the CRM aspect, you're going to see all the typical things you'd see in any CRM program. You're going to be able to keep track of all the important contact information, also be able to tag people. Tagging, any good program uses tags because it allows us to segment people based on maybe where you met them, what kind of customer they are, what kind of prospect they are, any number of different things that allows you to speak to them in a very individualized, personalized way. And then we can add them to any particular type of marketing campaign. We can also see the different campaigns they've already been on. I can see what sales pipelines they're on, and I can change that here as well and do whatever I want. I can see my individual conversations with this person, and then I also have the ability to have tasks, notes, and appointments. You're going to see the ability to book an appointment in a lot of places throughout the system, because my ideal customer is somebody who is building their business through appointments. In other words, there is some sort of an appointment that begins the relationship. And so appointments are very important in the system to us, and we want to automate that. There are a lot of great programs out there for scheduling and calendars. There's Calendly and Acuity and Time Trade and all kinds of great ones. We just didn't want to have to use an outside company again so that we're duct taping it in. We just built it right into the system. So that's that part. So you're going to see we have a CRM. We have the calendar appointment booking in here. Then we go out and we're going to have the sales pipelines. I referred to that a little bit. Sales pipelines are incredibly important because they are, see, I owned a sales training company for 11 years, and so many times we are winging it out there. We don't have a process or a flow to take people through. This just happens to be my designed flow. I work with clients to make sure that they come up with a flow that works for them. And then people will move through these processes or through this system. And marketing is getting people into your pipeline. Your sales process is what's going to move people through the pipeline. And then your customer onboarding is what happens once somebody becomes a customer. And then I have a whole customer onboarding process. And what's neat about this, neat, I'm such a geek, is that we build triggers into the system that say, if somebody takes this action, move them from here to here. And so you're not having to physically move people, but you can at any point in time see exactly where somebody's at in both your prospecting or your client onboarding process. So that's pipelines. Marketing. We have campaigns. Campaigns are awesome. They allow you to build a sequence, and sometimes it could just be one text, one email. It's a process for making something happen. So let's just look at something real quick here. When somebody books a 30-minute discovery session with me, this is a very simple campaign. What I love about this program, I've worked with all the complex programs, and they are complex. This is super simple. This is a text message. It goes out immediately. Right after somebody books an appointment, this is what they get. A minute later, they get an email. And the reason I do that is because email's not always going to hit the inbox. And so I want to make sure that they know that there's going to be an email coming with more details. Or I could do the text after the email saying, I just sent you an important email. You're going to want to make sure you look for it in your inbox. That allows this email to have a much better chance at getting opened and read. Then 30 minutes before the actual appointment, I have a text message going out to that person reminding them that we're meeting and here's my Zoom link. This is a very simple system. If I want to add something else, I can add a text, I can add an email, I can add Messenger. This whole thing could be built out via Messenger if that's the way that you're starting your conversations. We can do calls and waits and tasks and webhooks and all kinds of things. This one I think is really cool, and I've got to slow down long enough to build mine out. But let's say a day before this actual appointment, I wanted somebody to get a voicemail from me. So I would use my phone to record. There's a lot of free apps out there. Use my phone to record a message that might say something like, hey, I looked at my calendar today and I see you're on it for tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing you. Talk to you then. And then I would upload it here. And now every time, one day before, so we're going to change this to one day before the appointment, I want that voicemail to be dropped into their voicemail system. Now, it might ring once, it might not ring at all, but it just drops right in. And then, of course, they're going to get the text 30 minutes before. So there is very little chance that this person's not going to show up for this meeting. And each way I have dripped on them in a way that will likely get their attention. And so if they don't read their email, they certainly will get a text message. They will also get that warm automation of hearing my voice and having me check in that one day before. So you can build any number of different types of campaigns. Two of them that become really important, I think, to any small business is a nurture campaign. In other words, when someone says, I'm interested, I'm just not ready quite yet, you need to have a campaign that you can put them on that would be a series of texts and emails or voicemail drops or instant messages that would nurture them over time and educate them, just so that you're staying in touch with them and that you're providing more value along the way. There's nothing worse than, well, go ahead and call me back in 6 weeks. And then you call back in 6 weeks and nothing's changed. They don't even remember talking to you 6 weeks ago. You need to have some sort of a nurture program. The second nurture program I encourage people to have is a customer nurture program. So after they've gone through that customer onboarding process, then you want to have something in place that continues to add value and educate them about your products and services. Occasionally, you'll offer some sort of a product or service that they can purchase that's extra, but you don't want that to be your entire nurture program. You really want to think through, how can you add value with these touches that you're going to be giving people. So I have a whole bunch of different campaigns, all of them doing different things, and I don't have time to go through all the different options, but I think you'll get a feel for the fact that this is pretty simple to use. Then we have something called bulk requests, and there's two ways to put somebody, well, actually there's 3 ways. There's 3 ways to put somebody on a campaign. Number one, you would just go into their contact record and add them to the campaign there. There was a little add button. You just go find the campaign you want to add them to and you put them on that. That's great for those 1 or 2s that you're talking to somebody and they say, yeah, I'm interested in your webinar, add me, and then I'll just go in and add them. The second way is with a bulk request. And in this case, we're using those tags very strategically. So let's just call this a test. Let's say I'm going to be sending an invitation to my webinar to a group of people. I don't know if I have a webinar one easy, but let's just, yeah, here's sample webinar invitation. No, that's reminder, invitation. I would say the date and time, and if I wanted it to be right now, I have the option of sending it now. I would pick the contact type, and I would pick all, and then I would find the tag that I have tagged people with that indicates I want to invite them to this webinar. Maybe it's a webinar that is specifically for the people in my networking group. Then anybody that was tagged with that networking tag would then get this invitation. And then let's just do this, any tag. And now you'll see that it's queued up to be sent. And even though I said send immediately, it's still going to wait for me to push the play button, because we found that people would set this up, they'd start it, and then we'd go, oh, wait, I want to go back and change something. We still want to give them the opportunity to do that. But regardless of if you want it to go right away or you want it to go out in the future, either way, you have to now press the play button to make it run. So that is the second way that we can do a bulk request. Now, this could be a series of texts and emails and instant messages. It could be all text, all email. It doesn't matter how or where the message or how the message is happening. This is our tool for launching that. The third way, and the most used way, critical way, is to build a trigger. And next to the conversations area, triggers are my favorite thing. So let me just look at a trigger here. You first name the trigger, and then if the left side is, if this happens, the right side is, I want you to do this. So it's almost like you're training a new employee, and you spell out exactly what you want to have happen. So in this case, when somebody books an appointment for my 30-minute strategy session and they're confirmed, I want the following things to happen. So if I was telling an employee this, I would say, I want you to do this, 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 and this. In this case, we're just training the software to do it. So I want you to add them to a campaign. And what campaign? It would be the confirmation reminder campaign when somebody booked a 30-minute discovery session with me. Those are those that I just showed you, the text and emails and voicemail drop that I want you to launch them on. I want you to tag them that they booked a 30-minute discovery session via Zoom. I want you to send me a text and let me know that Mary Sample booked a 30-minute appointment session and the date and time. And as a business person, as a salesperson, I'm putting a lot out there in the world. And so I could sometimes wake up at 2 in the morning and go, oh, did Mary Sample did I ever follow up with her? I mean, where is she? What's happening? And so by getting these text messages, or it could be an email, I just prefer text. In my mind, I can kind of click that off, that, okay, good. All right, that was good. And then I add this person to the sales pipeline at what I call the root stage, which means they booked an appointment. I can do a number of things at that point. And then we save it and we make it active. And because we have a tendency to we build these cool triggers, we can also duplicate them and then just go in and make little changes. So we're not starting from scratch every time. But you can do so many things with the trigger. If somebody was added to a campaign, I want this to happen. If somebody replied to a message, I want this to happen. If a pipeline stage changed, if a trigger link was clicked, a trigger link, which is over here, I won't go deep into this, but if you put a URL in one of your messages and somebody clicks that link, you could make something happen. So in one case, I was sending a very important text message. I really wanted to know who was taking action with it. So I put a trigger link in there so that when the audience that got it clicked the trigger, I sent myself a text saying, Mary Jones clicked the trigger link, so that I know Mary Jones saw that. So I can go back at any time and know that we can have a discussion because she did see that. rather than the other where I know somebody didn't see it yet and I may choose to resend it. So there's all kinds of things that we can do with that. Well, let's just finish this out here. Triggers are really important. If somebody is in a sales pipeline and they stay there too long, we build something called a stale opportunities trigger. And that means, okay, let's say somebody's in stage 2 and it's been 3 weeks. They really by now should have moved out of stage 2 or 3 or whatever I said. I can say, okay, if this happens where somebody's in stage 2 for 3 weeks or more, I want you to send me, to put a task on my task list that says I need to reach out to that person. And then every morning I get a text and an email with my tasks for the day, and they're also here in the system. So I'm telling the software again, the same as I would an employee, hey, if that person sits there too long, make sure I know about it so that I can take some action. We build a lot of forms, use forms throughout the system. We also build surveys. So I could trigger that when somebody fills in a form, I want this next thing to happen. If somebody is tagged a certain way, I can then trigger off more automation, whatever it is I want to have happen. There's a birthday reminder, a custom date reminder. If you're in insurance and you've got renewal dates and you want to make sure that you talk to somebody a month in advance of their renewal date, grab the renewal date and schedule a trigger to send you a message or put it on your task list for the day to make sure you talk to them. Contact D&D, that's if somebody says, please unsubscribe me, then we set up a D&D that automatically goes in and turns on the trigger that says no more. Task reminder, that's exactly what I do to have my reminders come to me every day. And then a two-step order form. There are going to be places throughout the system where you can take orders. We use Stripe. We tie into Stripe at this point, and it is very easy, very simple to accept orders through this process. And so the minute somebody places an order, you're going to want to have certain things happen. Maybe you launch them on a campaign that confirms their purchase and tells them what the next step will be. You're definitely going to want to tag them that they made that purchase. You might want to get a text yourself, and then you want to probably switch them from a sales pipeline to a customer onboarding pipeline. And all you have to do is think through these things as if it were like a flow chart and say, okay, if this happens, I want that to happen. And you can automate so many parts of your business that just make your life so much easier. And then as you're bringing on employees or virtual assistants or however you want to get help, you then are able to give them more advanced things to do. You're not paying them to do something as simple as confirming your appointments. That can all be done through automation and triggers. So that was the third way that we can launch somebody on a campaign. So I hope I'm not losing you because there's a lot still to go. Form builder, that's real easy. You can put forms out on your website that will get people to take action. And then once they come in here, of course, you're going to build a trigger that's going to tell the system what to do once they take the action. Same thing with the survey builder. And the difference between a form builder and a survey builder is the form just collects information. The survey has conditional logic. So it will, you can train it so that if somebody answers question 1 with option B, they will now skip to question 3, whereas people who answer question 1 with option A will go to question 2. And so you really can get a very customized survey done. You can also disqualify people. So if when you're building out your survey and you say, okay, if somebody answers the question this way, I don't want to meet with them. I don't want them to be able to get to my calendar. So if you put a survey prior to your calendar, they could either be qualified and then go to your next step, which is your calendar, and book an appointment with you. Or if they're not qualified, they'll go off to a different page where you can offer a free download or something. But this is a way to make sure that you're spending your time with people who are qualified. So we can do a lot of things with surveys. SMS and email templates, that's where I have all these email and text templates that I can use anywhere in the system. We also have an HTML builder, which is similar to a SurveyMonkey or a Constant Contact, where you can have heavily designed emails that look great and have all that. So that's our email builder that way. Then, of course, we have our scheduling program. We tie into Google Calendar. So you'll see I always have my Google Calendar here. This is how I run everything. But what we do is we have Pro read your Google Calendar so that it knows when you're busy and when you're free. And then people can book with you. And you can, at that point, see all your different appointments coming up. Reputation, this is where we tie very heavily into Google in a number of ways. We tie into the calendar, obviously, but we also tie into Google My Business. And we all know how important it is to get those 5-star reviews and to get the feedback from your clients. So we have a way of, it's a campaign of asking your clients for those reviews and making sure that they follow through and do that. That's a great way of building. Google My Business is free, and you definitely want to be on it. So that's one thing that we provide a resource for. Contacts, this is your contact database. We, over the next few weeks, are going to be able to start seeing all kinds of new drop-down, what we call, what do we call them? I can't think of the name now, but you're going to be able to do all kinds of things like show me everybody that has this tag, but not that tag. You could select all, you can do things like add, like I could select the first 3 here and say add a tag or remove a tag. I could delete people. I can search for a particular person. This is going to be growing just in the next few weeks. With all the different things that we can do to finding that right person and being able to launch that group off on some sort of campaign or send them a text or something. Funnels. This is our funnel builder. This is, you've probably heard of ClickFunnels or Lead Pages or any number of these types of things. This is our funnel builder, and I'm so excited about it because it is so easy to use. And this is what my clients are telling me now. They've used the other programs. They're complicated. This is simple. To me, what I call a funnel is when it's one or more steps. If it's just one page, I call it a action page or a landing page. I call it an action page because an action page should be built where people go there and you just want them to take one action. And that reminds you that that's the point of that. But we can build out websites. By the 3rd quarter, we're going to be able to build out membership sites, course programs, anything that you could build with a page builder, you're now going to be able to build in Cultivating Sales Pro. So let's give you a little look at, let's look at this. This is my discovery session page. So I've literally built out a little mini funnel to have this process happens. So when somebody comes to this URL, they will now see a nice page with my photo and my information with my calendar so that they can book the appointment. And then, of course, the next step for me, I'm not pre-qualifying at this point. I'm meeting with everybody. That may change. I would just move these around and then put in my disqualifier. Then they're going to come to this page and they're going to see a very similar page, but the questionnaire is going to be there. And then the same thing with my thank you page. So it's a 3-step process, and I'll just kind of go back to that first one and show you how it looks. And because everything is built in Pro, I'm not having to go and get code from one program so that I can embed it into this program. I just click a link and I pull in my calendar, or I pull in the questionnaire or the survey, and everything's just built on this one page in this one system. I even have a little pop-up. And let's take a look at some of the other funnels I have. That's a an appointment funnel. Let's look at something where I have a master class coming up. This hasn't completely finalized yet, so the pieces are still being built. But you'll see I have a opt-in page where there's a video and then there's a form. And of course, the form was built in Cultivating Sales Pro, and we put the form in there. And so when they complete the form, guess what? I've had a trigger that says, okay, the minute they complete that form, I want you to send them to the thank you page. And on the thank you page, it's pretty much just that, thank you. Then they're forwarded to a survey. There's a button on the thank you page that has them go to the survey. And then the final last page is a thank you page. So again, it's just a matter of thinking through, what do you want to build with this page builder? If you think of it as a page builder instead of a sales funnel builder, I think sales funnels are so intimidating. Really, we're just saying, here's a couple of pages we're going to put together and take somebody through a process. And this is easy to build. I'm also going to be building my newsletter, which I'll be launching soon. And instead of building it with the HTML builder, which quite frankly, sending that many graphics and all that through email reduces the number of people that are actually going to get my newsletter. So instead, I'm building out, this is just my template so far, and I'm going to be building out my little newsletter here. And instead of sending an email, I'm going to send a text message to those people on my newsletter list saying, here's January's newsletter. It's going to cover this, this, and this. And then they just click on it and then quick go read it, because of course it's going to be all mobile friendly. So I don't have to worry about any of that because our builder takes care of that. And that's, to me, a much a smarter way to get that newsletter out, because I'm not sending all that all those graphics in a email where it's likely to get hit with the spam hammer. So that's a number of different things we can do with the funnel builder. The triggers we already went through. Settings is where we go through and we have all kinds of training. We have a whole support system. You set up all your different things. And then, of course, we do have the support portal, which has lots of training and the ticket base and access to everything you would want to know and more. And then we also have a Facebook group, a private Facebook group for customers. And I also offer currently 1 day a week, an hour. It's Mondays at 3:30 Central Standard Time. I have an open office hour on Zoom. I'm just there on Zoom, and people pop in and ask questions, and some people stay and learn. They just want to hear what everybody else's questions are, or that may prompt a question they may have. So people do have quite a bit of access to me. I am involved in everything. There are all kinds of training opportunities, both very free. We got a lot of free access. And then also there are some paid opportunities where if you're having a hard time building out a sales funnel, you can partner with us and we do it together, or you can hire a virtual assistant that is comfortable and very familiar with CS Pro, and you can have them build that out for you. So there are a lot of resources available to you. This is something that I'm having just a great time working with customers on. The reason being is that the developers are very focused on what I and my customers are asking for. So if you have a problem with a funnel that isn't working, or if there's something going on with the calendar scheduling that you would wish would work better, I work directly with Nick, who is the funnel builder, or not the funnel builder. He's the gentleman that works on or has built the calendaring program. And so we get on Zoom and we figure out a problem, or we figure out a solution to a problem. And that's why I actually ask all my clients to send me Loom videos when they're having an issue or they have a question. They just can't figure something out. Loom is a free Chrome extension, and Pro works best on Chrome, so it works out great. And all you do is click this little button. I'm using Loom right now to shoot this video. It allows you to explain to me what the problem is. You can clearly say, I'm clicking on this and nothing's happening, and you could show me, and then I can either address it or someone on my team can address it, or I take that Loom video and I send it directly to our team so that they can see what the problem is and turn around and give us a quick fix or a workaround. Software always has bugs. That's never, ever going to change with our software or anybody's software. The key is to be able to get help with the bug and get it fixed as soon as possible. Or if it isn't a bug and it's just something where you need a little additional training, I can develop a new training for it. Or I can send you to the video that has the training for how to do something. So there is just a lot of capabilities to have an impact on where this software goes in the future, where we grow it. Like I said, we're going to have membership and course development coming soon. There's a number of things on the horizon where I won't get into saying what it is, but if you tell me there's something that you want or you need to see, and we get enough rally around it, we can get it built. And I don't know of any other, certainly no other software program I've worked with, have I had the ability to directly impact the future of how the program is built out. So that is very exciting. We have no desire, I have no desire, to become the next Infusionsoft or HubSpot or anything like that. I consider myself a boutique software owner. This is, you almost have to know somebody. Well, you do. You have to kind of know somebody to be able to find us and get access to this tool. The word is spreading very quickly, but I'm always going to maintain a certain level of exclusivity because I want to make sure that the people that I'm working with are committed to getting the results with the software. Too often, somebody subscribes to a software program and it just never goes anywhere. So they just keep paying monthly for that fee and they're really not using it. To me, that's a failure. This program really works and you can really build out a comprehensive sales and marketing system for yourself. And through a lot of our free services and then some of our paid services, we can help you if you have trouble with getting that done. But I want to make sure that I'm working with clients that are going to actually take this and build out their sales and marketing platform so that this is a tool that helps them grow their sales. Because that is the whole point of this, that we all want to be able to handle the business that we have, but then also be able to take on more business. And you cannot scale unless you have tools and systems in place that will allow you to do that. So you can do very, very well on your own without systems and handle a certain amount of people. And they get hands-on service and they're really happy and everything's great. And then you try to grow and then pretty soon you just can't handle those people. You can't handle the things that you could handle before because there's just too many clients. And each and every one of us go through this. I recently went through this with a big influx of new clients, and I've had to really come in here and work on my own system so that I could automate as much as I possibly could automate so that when I'm involved, I'm really involved. I'm not running around doing the little things that the software could have done for me. Now, when I'm bringing on additional help, I'm bringing them on at a different level. I'm not going to pay somebody to do all the little automation things that the software can handle. I'm going to have them helping me in a bigger, bolder way. And the same with your company. You want to be able to use technology to handle all those details. And there are so many when you really start watching how and when you do your work. If you follow yourself through the day and watch all the things that you take care of that you really shouldn't be taking care of, that number one, software could do it, or number two, a virtual assistant or an employee could be doing it. We need to be spending our time building relationships with our prospects and our customers, and let the rest of it be done by qualified employees and a really great software program. I would like you to consider setting up a demo with me and let me answer your questions. Let me show you around. Let me really give you a detailed view of how you could be using this in your business. And again, let's make sure this is something that you're ready to take on, because it is going to be a certain amount of work. I'm not going to lie. When you are building all this, it takes you having to step back from the day-to-day a little bit each day, work on your business a little bit each day to build the systems out. And then once those systems are built, you're just tweaking it and letting the software do the work so that you can spend your time where you really want to be, and that's with your clients. And so again, I will give you a link on how to book an appointment with me, how to book a demo. Not only will you get on my calendar, but you'll experience what it feels like to go through that scheduling process, get those confirmation and reminders, and see how it feels to be taken through that process. So thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I know it's a little long, and if you stuck with me, it's probably because you're really looking for a system that will do these things for you. Let me give you the let me have the opportunity to show this to you. Thanks.